Hey everybody, I hope you've been enjoying the videos I've been making. Today I'm going to show you how to make a handle for a coffee mug, and what I'm actually going to do is show how what I call to pull a handle off of a mug, which means you attach a piece of clay to the top of the mug and then you actually use that to pull the handle from the mug and then attach it to the bottom. And so I'm going to kind of walk you through the steps here of how that's done, at least how I do it. There's probably 100 different ways that it's done, but just show you an idea. Give you some tips and pointers on how I do this and how I put handles on mugs. So let's go. So what I've done here is extruded out about an inch wide cylinder, and I cut this about 3 inches long just based on the size of the mug that I'm putting this on. And I'll show you how I shape this. So I'm going to take this one end here and I'm going to clean off a little bit of this extra clay, and then I'm going to pinch that end a little bit, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to thin out this end versus the other end. So I'm going to make this end a little bit thinner than this end. I'm going to do that by rolling it on the table, and I'm just going to roll this one end of the handle or of the cylinder. And so I kind of make what you see here. It's like a little bit of a teardrop. So I've got it thinner here than on this end. Then I'm going to take the fat end, I'm going to tap it on the table, and I'm going to widen that out a little bit more, because this is the end up here that I'm going to attach to the top of the mug, and then I'm going to pull that off of the mug and shape my handle. And what it allows me to do is have the thicker part of the handle up at the top, just the look that I like. And as I pull that, I don't get a big lump of clay down here at this end. If I just leave it a perfect cylinder and then I try to pull it off of the mug, you end up having a thinner part up here and then a thicker part here that you attach to the bottom of the mug. And I just like the look of it better being thicker on the top. So that's how I start out with my clay for putting this handle on. So this is the style of mug that I'm going to be putting handles on today. And in order to pull a handle off of a mug like I'm going to show in this video today, you really have to have the clay stiffened up pretty good, especially on the top part of the mug. So first thing I'm going to do is take my tool and actually score or scratch up the top part there where I'm going to attach the handle. After I got that scored, what I'm going to do is take some slip and add it to that place where I just scratched that up, scored that, slip or wet clay. And now what I'm going to do is actually take that piece of clay that we made earlier, and I'm actually going to take the fat end and I'm going to flatten that out just a little bit, because I want to make that more of like an oval than round shape, and because I want to attach this to the mug so that it has an oval shape instead of a round shape at the top. Just push that on really good there at the top, and then what I'm going to do is actually take my fingernail and go all the way around the edge there where I've pushed that onto the mug, and I want to kind of smooth that area out where I attached it. Okay, once I've done that all the way around, I'm going to get a little bit of water on my fingertip, and I'm actually going to go back around every bit of that area where I just used my fingernail or my fingertip and smooth that out. Now once that's done, you can see that I actually have the clay attached to the top of the mug. Now what I'm going to do is actually start pulling that. So first I have to add a little bit of water to that. Then I'm going to actually start pulling that. First thing I want to focus on is kind of this top part up next to the mug, especially the sides there. I want to kind of get that in the shape that I want it to be, right along in here. I'm going to put my little groove that I put on most of my handles right down the middle. Get a little bit more water on that. Sometimes I need to pull in between these two fingers here to kind of flatten that out. And then kind of put one final groove and a pull, starting right up here near the top, and just kind of pull that gradually all the way down. Okay. Alright, so now I have the handle pulled, and I just set the mug back down, and you can kind of see the handle just hangs there and doesn't touch the bottom, which is good, because what I want to do at this point is take the bottom portion of this handle, and I'm actually just going to cut it off so that it's straight across on the bottom. And I actually saved this little bit of clay, and I'll show you something a little fun I do with that. But I just cut it so it kind of has a little flush straight in there, and I'm just going to tap the bottom of that to kind of smooth it over. And then what I'm going to do is just wet that right there at the bottom where I'm going to attach this to. I don't even add any slip there to the bottom, because the bottom of this mug is still a little bit wet. I'm actually going to take the bottom portion of the handle here and just kind of set it up there. Make sure it's kind of lined up straight, kind of look at it. And then what I do is just start pushing in at the bottom of that a little bit at a time and kind of flatten that out. And that attaches the bottom of the handle. Then what I do is I actually turn it sideways, usually set it up here, and I'm going to actually look at the shape, kind of push in at the bottom and pull up right underneath the top here to kind of give me the shape of the handle that I want. And then I'm going to turn this back around. I take that little piece of clay that I just cut off. I'm going to pinch that about in half. I'm going to roll a little ball with that. Once I get that ball made, I'm going to flatten that out a little bit. Get that wet just a little bit on the back side. Then I'm just going to push it right in there on the bottom. Basically making a button. I'm going to take a little stamp that I have here and finish that off. So now that I have a little button on the bottom of the handle, I come back later after the handle stiffens up and I put a little thumb button up here on the top. But for now, that's pretty much done, and that's how I pull the handle off of a mug.